Evening franchise fans, and welcome to tonight's race, match one between Coffee and Chocobos and zilch6. My name is Baka Shinobi, and I'm joined by Alchemy. How are you doing this evening, Alchemy?
Oh, I'm doing just great. I am so excited for this match between two sages, as we call them in the community.
That's right, it's a roll to go, and if you have a question about free enterprise, you can go and ping the sage roll, and one of these two or other sages in their community will be able to answer your question because they're very experienced with this game, as it's the second seed versus the 17th seed.
I seriously can't wait to see what happens in this seed, especially as we can see we had a seed hero. That's very nice. That's a welcome sight, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it's a very strong hero early on, starting with the wooden hammer, which isn't the best weapon, but Sid can use bows, so he's easily back row glitched. He can use a variety of hammers, which are pretty common, axes that are also common. Just a good weapon set and can carry you through the overworld pretty easily.
Yup. Sid starts at level 20 with some pretty decent stats and a hefty HP pool, so these two experienced racers are going to sweep the overworld.
Yeah, he does have weird growth, so he's not always the best character to bring to the end team, but his low speed could actually work out pretty well because if you go and have faster characters, you tend to go and have a nice baseline. You can just curse Sid, let him be a pile of HP, and use low agility anchor strats in the Sea Hero flag set.
Yep, because like it or not, Sid is stuck in your party because he's the hero and we cannot remove him. That being said, if you're feeling a little cheeky, you can increase his agility with equipment and grab one of those amazing super forged weapons that Sid gets.
That's correct. Sid doesn't get a bad super forged weapon, which is
Nope.
it's really convenient. The casters will all go and get a very nice plus 15 to a casting stat weapon, but beyond that, they're nothing terribly impressive. Rosa could even just get a pile of Perseus arrows. Edge can go and get scrap or scrap metal, just a complete dud, while Cecil has two different, somewhat joke weapons, including the Caliburn, which is one attack power. Sid, he is all hits. The Giant Axe that other characters can use, the Thor's Hammer, which is strong, and the Flare Hammer, which is monstrously strong.
The cool thing is that even though the Flare Hammer is technically stronger than the Thor Hammer, the Thor Hammer has a really powerful blitz attack that hits like around 1k on like the whole enemy party. It's super good if you don't have a party like AoE attack. So I'm really hoping for like early forge somehow.
It would definitely be a big boon for these runners, and we are not likely to go and see all the characters we want because we do have the See Maybe flag turned on. That goes and makes it so that, well, every character might show up. Every character except for Soya, who can only be your hero. Afterwards, it's just the 11 remaining.
You bet. So we will see what wonderful start these racers have. Ooh, Kane.
Kane with the Sparkle giving us a ninja shirt. This is interesting. Because one of our objectives is to defeat Wyvern, that Sparkle currently has a 1 in 5 odds of being something we need to fight.
So the thing is that because the Sparkle gave us a ninja shirt, which only Edge can equip, not what you want to see, it means that, and keep this in mind, chat, there is at the very least one key item on the moon, because this one was not a key item.
Yep, there are 17 key item spots. There's 17 key items, and that is the K main pool, where if you go to each of those in the vanilla flag, so you'll get one of those each items. However, each study you hit means that there's one more key item definitely to be found on the moon, which the moon is a scary play. It's a very slow and taxing place to go to.
You bet. You probably want some like colorful pieces of equipment and probably a full party and maybe even some levels before you go up there.
Very much so.
But as we can see in the objectives, we have defeat Odin, which is a doozy, and launch the Falcon.
Launch the Falcon is interesting because there are two ways underground. One is to go and find the magma key and drop it down the well in Agert. The second is to find the hook And after defeating the boss in Upper Babel, you will then be able to fall to the underground and launch the Falcon. Which means there's a chance that launch the Falcon could just simply be a required objective in the form of getting to the underground.
And there is another chance that this is a magma key seed and the hook is buried somewhere. Maybe even on the moon. So we don't know.
Yep, that is something that is a real concern for our runners, as until they start getting some visibility as to who is holding the key item or where their way underground is and what key item it is, the hook is a big question mark.
Yup. What I like to see is that these two racers have complete divergence. While CoffeeAndChocobos has gone to loot the waterway, zilch has gone to Cave Evelyn. Whoop,
Yes.
Castle Evelyn, my bad.
So we have weighted treasure flags where, depending on the location you go, there are different weights for treasures. The Watery Pass is some of the highest water treasure weights of anything overworld, but it's still not as good as the Castle Evelyn, which has more chests and higher weights. However, Castle Evelyn has 3 trap chests in here, which is why it has those higher rates. If you find one of those, you're probably just resetting at this point and coming back in. So while CoffeeAndChocobos has looted the front of Watery Pass, gone to Kaipo, sold some stuff and bought an Ograx, zilch is still going and working on looting this castle.
Some nasty soul in chat is saying Hook and Magma Key at Ribbon Room guarded by something beyond nasty. Listen, we haven't had a K unsafe tournament yet, and I hope it doesn't happen. Okay. The logical underground access cannot be on the moon in this flag set.
That is correct. You must have access to the underground before you logically have to go to the moon line progression.
Is that Odin in front of Tella?
Looks like Odin in front of Tella. That is one objective. Objective number 4, ready to complete if you go to Mount Hobbs, and that Tella is a very nice pickup.
Wow, that's absolutely excellent in like both Stella, even though you may know him from Manila as kind of like a weak like raid mage or whatever. He's the ultimate support caster in these seats where Fusoya is not available. He has a lot of really good utility spells.
That he does. One of those utility spells he starts with is Exit, which is why CoffeeAndChocobos is taking the time to go out to the side. This kind of out of the way spot of West Hobbs. It's more chest, better chest hopefully, and Tella will just cast Exit to take us right out of here.
Not the chest you were hoping for, but let me tell you, I have seen some amazing things drop from those chests. So with an Exit caster, I don't think that's a bad play by any means.
No, and zilch is now going and finishing the Castle Evelyn looting, finding a poison axe, which the ogre axe is a bit stronger because it has better accuracy, while the poison axe zilch is going to be able to make good use of, as while it's not accurate, Sid can go and use it from the middle. And now we're going to go and see all the stuff that a samurai bow is another big pick from that Castle Evelyn. That is a very powerful bow, one of the better bows. It gives plus 10 strength and has decent accuracy and attack power.
Fairly sure that's the second best bow in the game, pretty much.
It is, depending on your feelings of the Elven bow, which, unlike most other things, arrows usually go and give weakness type. The Elven bow will always give any arrow weakness or extra damage against mages, which these Baron Guards we're seeing are mages. Would be nice to have one here, but don't think we're going to have much other trouble dealing with this, as the party just cleans that up on CoffeeAndChocobos' side while zilch is starting Odin.
Yeah, like we mentioned, Seed Hero is a very welcome side for the overworld. Whoa, that's a second womp.
Looks like the moon is seeming less than haunted, though. We do have one objective done already on zilch and CoffeeAndChocobos' side with that early Odin. Maybe you don't find many key items, but you find everything else you need on the Earth.
Yep. And the key the equipment rewards from the non-key item spots have been dubious at best. A ninja shirt and an ice brand? Like, come on.
That ninja shirt's great for keeping Edge alive if you really want to make sure he doesn't die. It is a extremely powerful piece of defensive equipment. Also, nice ninja blade. Probably means we're not going to see Edge at this point.
Right? Mr. Not appearing in this scene.
And another strong item, the Curse Ring. Minus
There it
15 to all
is.
of your stats is not the most appealing sounding item. However, the big thing it's used for is ATB manipulation. The very short version is in Final Fantasy IV SNES. The number the ATB is calculated on is actually a number you can manipulate for your character. It is Sid's agility. If you make it really low, you can make it so that everyone else hits the speed cap, and your characters will always be as fast as bosses, even if bosses should be much faster than your characters.
So, and adding to that, Seed's natural low agility growth means that if you slap just like a curse ring on him, should be good for endgame and should make a lot of bosses much nicer for the rest of his party.
Agreed. And we do see Coffee and Chocobos getting through, checking the waterfall, finding Ashura. Not a boss we worry about because not required, and that spot is not required either. Coffee and Chocobos is also going to the Mist Cave to check for bosses and finds Golbez, the laughing, the villain who laughs at your pain because he can.
Well, this time he will not be getting the last laugh because guess what? Bye bye.
Doesn't even get the first laugh as Coffee and Chocobo resets out and says no thank you.
Yep, not even a single ha. Not even the H. Zilch getting his ice brand and getting the bad news that we are almost 10 minutes in and we have, for some incredible like design of the universe, we have one objective and no key items. This is a big rarity.
It is certainly not the situation you want because you usually like to see some of those key items. Just, we know that the Sand Ruby is an Edward in the bed, but maybe you can go and find a package to get another character, find an Earth Crystal to go and get access to that treasury. Darkness Crystal, Tella, just do a nice early grind.
Thing is like in like seed psychology, when the seed shows you like a logical progression, like you fight some bosses, you get the magma key, you find some more bosses, you get the darkness crystal, and like everything just like falls into place. It's a really comfortable place. But when you have no key items and an objective right off the bat, and everything's like a big mess, it's like, how do you handle these kinds of situations, right? That's also test the mettle of the racers.
Indeed, and speaking of testing the mettle of the racers, Mom Bomb has come out to play at the Baron Inn, and Mom Bomb is a pretty mean boss to find here. One, this spot is very good at punching things, and Mom Bomb for the longest time is only going to punch things, as that's what Mom Bomb does. Mom Bomb punches and tries to knock down characters. We're going and getting blinks out from Tella, as this spot's pretty slow, and we are going to be able to keep up. But eventually Mom Bomb is going to go and not be interested in continuing to play nicely.
So remember what I said about Tella being the ultimate utility mage? There you have it. Blink is arguably one of the best spells in the game, allowing you to nullify 2 physical hits on any character. And he has it by default. You don't even have to climb ordeals for it.
Yes, that is one of Tella's stronger spells to start with. In addition, Tella starts with Cure 2 and Stop, 2 other very powerful spells.
Like, sure, he's not gonna be putting out some amazing damage, but he can make sure that your team stays alive, so they can pump out some good damage.
Agreed, and we see Mom Bomb going through the exploding script, getting Coffee and Chocobos hopefully access to a Baron Inn key item check and the Cecil that is there.
Ooh, Stardust, very nice. That should do it.
And down goes the Baron Inn fight. We're going to go and get a Cecil in a party and a key item check. It's the Baron key.
Wow,
there's a sparkle at Baron.
Vanilla Baron, interesting. That's also another key item, but not only that, it's another character, and you want those in case you have to go down the hook route early.
That's right, but it is 2 bosses through there. Do you go to Ordeals first just to get that Paladin Cecil started?
I mean, hmm. I mean, yeah. So you can go through Baron even faster. That will be my thought. Yeah.
But maybe you find Hedge in Baron Castle, so then you can go through Ordeals faster. It is an interesting trade-off.
You may find Edge in Baron Castle, or you may find Edward. Now that we know he's in the seat.
Oh, we know
So,
Edward's in the seat. He's bad.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing that says it can be Edward. So, I mean,
Mhm.
Edge. So we will see what Coffee and Chocobo decides to do with this new information.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Zilch is going and fighting the boss of Fabul Castle and is finding Dark Elf there. Both runners going and deciding that they want to stay as far away from each other's routes as possible at the moment.
Wow. Coffee and Chocobo remembering that he saw a black sword in Kaipo when he went to check the bed and just like casually bought one for Dark Knight Cecil. That's really good because the black sword will give a very nice stat boost to all of Dark Knight Cecil stats except Will that he desperately needs. So he's gonna be useful in this upcoming fights. That's great.
Yeah, and Coffee and Choco has found a short bow, which allows him to go and back row Sid. Sid will now go and do full attack power damage from the back row.
And Zilch has found the values of values. Darkness Crystal at Fabul. This is no time for single dip in Fabul, let me tell you, my friends.
There is a character up on that moon that we might be able to get, and it might go and be someone who speeds up the party considerably. Rosa would be a very nice addition. Palom or Rodeo would also be fine additions at some point. But Zilch is saying, I want to go up this Mount Ordeals, just as Coffee and Chocobos is getting into the first fight.
It's if you find a white mage either in the hook route or the moon or something, you can immediately search for ethers and just go wake up the giant to do the machines and just like sweep the seat.
And Wyvern is at the Baron Inn spot, and Hook shows up here on Mount Ordeals. We are in go mode. Or at least we are in no mode.
You're absolutely correct. We know the audience knows where everything is. And as soon as Coffee and Chocobo and Zilch do each other's checks that they have done, they will also be like in full parity. So we'll see what Ordeals deigns to give us today.
Yep, there's going to be options because the Darkness Crystal. Ordeals is likely to not have any gating bosses, but if we see a Valvalis or Wyvern here, we will know that we have to hunt Demist around somewhere on the overworld, or go through that Baron key.
Leviathan's not too bad here, I don't think.
Leviathan is going to go and throw out some rather nasty Ice 2s at this spot, but otherwise, the big waves will be scary.
Leviathan is pretty bad in this spot. Alright, this spot has higher magic because they wanted Mylan Seed spells, like status effect spells to land.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Knight Cecil is putting some great work with that black sword. You love to see it.
+5 to all offensive stats and 30 whole attack power, which is 20 more attack power than his starting weapon, does do a fair bit for Dark Knight Cecil. Zilch, unfortunately, going and hitting this Leviathan and does not have as strong a team as Coffee and Chocobos did going into this, and Kane goes down immediately.
Thing is, if you do burn one Star Veil, you can reflect the spells. Yeah, like Zilch is doing. You can reflect the Ice 2s right back at him, but yeah, you want a better start to the fight.
Yeah, we want to go and keep that Kane alive, I think. Ooh, throwing on the
Oh,
fire armor.
fire. That's really clever. Fire armor resists ice. Excellent. Excellent choice.
Yep. Not what you usually think of fire armor, but in Final Fantasy IV, fire armor is weak to fire and strong to ice, while ice armor is strong to fire and weak to ice.
Think about it like fire keeps ice away, right? That's the idea. That's a
Speaking of
wall.
keeping things away, we've got a rat tail, which could be another key item should we find the hook. And yeah, there's Evil Wall, who is not going to do too much against these Sids in the back row. That
Yes, it
said,
has got this.
that almost guarantees that progression is through the Baron key.
Yup, unless there is a cheeky Demis hiding in the Sot 1, that is the Magus Sister spot, holding the Magma or Hook. Progression is through Baron.
Yeah, I imagine our runners are going to go and clear Baron first before going and testing that gamble. But it is something on the table.
You bet. I'm sure that's like something they are thinking about the moment they see that rat tail.
And to answer a question from chat, can Odin Throne Gate Underground without the Be Unsafe flag on? It cannot. There is unsafe key items, which could go and require you to go to the moon. There can be unsafe bosses who allows Wyvern, Golbez, and Valvalis to gate the path underground, and also allow the Odin Throne to gate the way underground. Also, K-Summon is off, but if Demas is there, it could have it. But because Demas can't be there and because the Odin Throne is off limits because of Be Unsafe, because Be Safe is on. Even if Demas is there, it can't go and have the magnet.
Yep, absolutely. So if you find Demis there is like no chance it will have the logical path underground. Remember, there are two paths underground, and just because one is not like blocked off by a harsh boss that logically the game doesn't want you to fight for your first choice of path underground, doesn't mean that behind that nasty boss isn't the other path underground, which has happened.
There has been multiple seeds where I have found a Magma Key behind a Valvalis or a Golbez and realized, oh, there's a hook in the overworld somewhere.
Ooh, is CoffeeAndChocobos going to check the Ebon Trap chest, hoping for a wonderful holy sword for that paladin? Or even an Artemis bow or something?
Looks like CoffeeAndChocobos is choosing to go and loot Evelyn now and is willing to go and take all these trap fights.
Trap fights are good too because they will give some really good EXP if you can defeat them.
That is something I have done, and we have Ogre Axes for this party, so not the worst thing to happen.
Nice. Yeah. So as far as I remember, there is a 10% chance of getting a tier 8, that is the Zemus best holy swords, Excalibur and Crystal Sword. 10% chance per trap chest, so there are 3. So we will see if CoffeeAndChocobos gets lucky with the drops.
Yep, that's what is that percentage? 10%. 0.9 to the third power is about 25% chance that one of these 3 chests will go and provide a very nice, very powerful holy sword for Cecil to go and take on the world with.
J-Math. You got it. I don't know if that's correct, but I presume it is.
Well, 0.81 times 0.89 is 70. It's probably a bit over. Yeah. Thank you. Night Dude going and confirming it's 27.1%.
Oh, that's pretty good. I just mentioned the Artemis. There you go. Artemis bow is the best bow in the game, giving plus 10 to agility and strength, and minus 10 to intellect and wisdom. I mean, to wisdom and will. But we don't care about those when you can slap those on Cecil or Sid.
It is a very nice piece of equipment to have. And speaking of nice things to have, Zilch is about to discover that, yeah, there's a Cecil around you to have.
just our Artemis, like with an Artemis bow and a ninja hat and something like that, you can make say fast enough in Ceremus that if you find a fourth fighter and you berserk the entire team, Ceremus doesn't Artemis bow on Sid and make him as fast as the rest of the team.
Yeah, you don't even need to put the Artemis Bow on Sid, just go and have multiple other fast characters, have them all zerking, and then Sid. You have 3 zerkers who are faster than Sid going, and Sid in the Zemus fight going. So 4 characters on your side who are at least relative agility 5 or higher. It doesn't really matter what Zemus's agility is, as you'll be able to go in at that point, keep getting equal turns because of what is called Q jamming, where Final Fantasy IV can only process 1 action per ATB tick. So when Sid attacks, the ATB advances 1. Then it goes and checks the next person. Oh, hey, they just got their turn, so we're going to attack now too. And you just keep doing that. And why does it only require 4 instead of 5? Because Zemus also goes and counts as an actor.
You bet. CoffeeAndChocobos getting through that nasty fight clean and getting a defense sword for his troubles. That is an excellent sword to find. That is like Cecil's, what, like 4th or 5th or like 5th best weapon? Very nice.
It's a very strong weapon for Cecil, and it is Kane's best weapon until level 60 or so.
Yeah, level 67, I believe.
Unless you have Kane in the middle slot, then the White Spear will edge out faster.
So far, like Evelyn Castle has been wonderful. CoffeeAndChocobo doesn't even bother to search for the 3rd chest. It seems like.
Yeah, it seems like CoffeeAndChocobos is content to just, all right, we're going to start going. Just as Zilch is leaving. So, Thunderclaws for sale.
Like Zilch we just mentioned, it's so tempting to think, oh, I can make that Campbell. That's like a 10% for a weapon for Cecil that he can destroy like most of the bosses with. But the thing is, one of the skills you have to apply in this randomizer is knowing when to stop looting. So if you think you have enough power, even if that powerful sword you could get is looming over your head, you need to put your foot down and say, okay, no, that's enough. I'm just gonna go now.
Speaking of going now, Zilch is going to the moon, launching the big whale. CoffeeAndChocobos does not know that the Darkness Crystal is at the Fool Castle and is going to go here to Baron Castle instead to check for progression.
We will see what... we will check like multiple sources of information, such as the moon character and also what's hiding in Cave Bahamut, which is one of our static objectives.
Sorry, if Cave Bahamut has Wyvern, that is... well, that's also go mode for if there's a hook here in Baron Castle.
Personally, when I find like an early Darkness Crystal, I know K-Moon is on, I also like peeking Murasame altar because it's near the top and I have an exit caster with Taylor, right? So I personally like peeking my head in like, who is this? Because if it's a free boss, that's like a massive injection of EXP and an early check, and we know there's 2 key items in the moon at least.
Yep. That is going to be something that the runners may need to go and check for, but we're about to find out, is this Sparkle Wyvern? And Zilch is going to find out who's the character on the moon.
Ooh, Plague. Well, that our Artemis bow is going to put in good work. And a dude. Damn.
Well, that is unfortunate. Duplicate Cecil, not the character you want to see, so I think Zilch is going to... Yep, Zilch is just going to say, all right, we're done here. Let's go somewhere else. And we're... yeah, Zilch is going into Baron Castle now as well, choosing not to go through Evelyn Castle like CoffeeAndChocobos did and just saying, all right, let's keep making forward progress. Zilch knows this is almost certainly where the path underground is.
Yeah, but like we said, saving a very cheeky Demis, this is the logical path underground. It could either give you another gating key item or just straight up the path underground, I believe.
Coffee and Chocobos getting through that plague fight just barely. Count was getting down pretty low, but Cecil with a Artemis bow and poison arrows did a fair amount of damage. And hey, look, here's another kind of annoying boss, CPU.
So the good thing about CPU is that if you have your full party back road, you can just keep attacking the CPU at no penalty. And even if Kane is not back road, you can just jump with them.
Which it looks like Coffee and Chocobos is more than happy to do.
Interesting that Zilch is like Zilch doesn't have the Artemis bow that Coffee and Chocobos got. So I wonder what his strategy for Plague is going to be, because Coffee and Chocobos just like shot at the Plague and he was done. And that spot has a nasty amount of HP, so we'll see what Zilch does.
Yeah, and the count can be pretty tricky on these flags. That's where you there are certain ways to abuse the ATB system to prevent plague from going and doing letting count ever fall off on characters. However, on Z-Hero that is much harder, but we do have Tella with some nice spells and is throwing out a virus.
One of the many things you can do a series of manipulations against Plague. You can reflect count and let Plague count himself down. You can down a character and then revive them, and then Plague will refresh the count on everyone. Or you can just abuse the ATB so count never goes off. And that's a diff game. Oh boy, for characters, huh?
Yeah, Kane, I mean, we found Cecil twice, we found Kane once, aside from the time that we started with him.
Ooh,
and that is a wipe for Zilch, unfortunately, to that plague. That is quite hard to... We do have a save right there, so going to go and be able to sort out just getting their party ready and then go into that fight again.
It's a rough loss, but it's not that big of a nasty wipe. Like the save file, the save is right there.
Speaking of things being right there, the Magma Key is right there in the Baron Pot for Coffee and Chocobos taking, as Coffee and Chocobos is beelining to Agert to get underground.
This is both a good thing and a bad thing. This is a good thing because you don't have to go down the hook route, which could be very nasty. This is a bad thing because it means that the hook, which is required to launch the Falcon, could be absolutely anywhere, including the moon.
That is correct. But hey, we like to go and see moon fights, so settle in. The seed is not going to go and be quite as jet as it initially looks like it might be.
Remember, folks, it's only a jet seed when you have the crystal in hand. Until then, it only smells like jet.
It is definitely something you want to go and make sure you're not getting too far ahead of yourself with.
So Zilch is performing as I mentioned, the strategy where wow. Even if Flake can use count on your party to refresh it, the ATB is merciless and will keep counting down.
Yeah, this Plague is unfortunately being quite rude to Zilch. Coffee and Chocobos going and finding those two powerful weapons has definitely given Coffee and Chocobos a bit of a advantage in that.
Yeah, well, Coffee and Chocobos was just able to hold A on Cecil as we say, and have him go to defeat Plague. Zilch is having to employ some trickier strats that need more finesse to pull off.
Coffee and Chocobos going back to Baron Castle to check the basement, see if there's anything there, and it is a Kanatsu. Not a Wyvern, not a Demus, not a thing where Coffee and Chocobos is going to have any interest in fighting.
What's up with nasty bosses being in spots you either don't have to fight or are kind of free? What's going on here? One's looking kind of nice.
Well, here runners into a false sense of security as Plague's improving that this is a pretty rude fight, all things considered.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping with, oh my god. There's the count. Oof.
There's the count. Kane's missing it, so when he comes down, he is likely to go down again.
The good thing, well, good in quotations thing about this is that with many targets to raise, he's going to keep reapplying count while you do damage.
Well, there's Hook, so
Wow.
if Wyvern's in Cave Bahamut, this really comes down to where Wyvern is. If Wyvern is available on the moon, there's a Gomo to be found. But if Wyvern's hiding somewhere behind a different key item, still going to be hunting for things.
You know, Baka, I try to be like good at like hyping stuff, like ooh, Hook on the moon and stuff, and then they go back down here and it's like, well, there you go, there's your free hook for your charge. Thank you, have a nice day. And what am I supposed to do about that?
Embrace the Wyvern that is Wyvern at Zop behind the chain that also gives you the other half of Forge.
Yeah, huh? We'll see. Because the thing is, even if Wyvern is a King-Queen emblem, we are going to launch the Falcon anyway, so we can only hope that Wyvern, well, hope in quotations, that Wyvern is like, I don't know, Masamune Ultra or something.
Wherever that Wyvern is, it's going to probably be a little bit before the runners find them, but CoffeeAndChocobos does have another character check, and Zilch is finally through that Plague. Plague definitely was a bit of a wall for Zilch here. And now I'm going to go and start making up some time as CoffeeAndChocobos is heading down to the bottom of Sylph Cave, going to be talking to Yang in the bed, and most likely going straight to Fabul to do that check and get the Darkness Crystal and see what Sheila 1 has.
Very nice. CoffeeAndChocobo was not hurt by not checking Fabul that early, because the character up in the moon was just a deal.
Yep, that is something that will be good for CoffeeAndChocobos. Zilch is about to go and see this rather annoying orb, but they'll be making his way underground and be able to go and find that Hook and turn in the rat tail as CoffeeAndChocobos picked up Hovercraft and brought it with him to Fabul.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like Chad mentioned, this is also a rat tail check, which could be like half a forge, could be more progression, we don't know.
There's a chance that we can just simply go and get both parts of Forge with the Sheila 1 and the Rat Tail check.
That's the beautiful thing about Free Enterprise. It's just like you don't know what's happening, like what's around the corner, and you have to continuously adapt as new information is presented to you, which is a skill that our top racers are well acquainted with.
Yeah, you are always put on your toes with whatever key items you find because you got to be paying close attention to make sure that when you get Go mode, you recognize you're in Go mode because you have to go and complete 4 of the 5 objectives to get your crystal, and when you get that crystal and have a way to Zeromus, you can take him on anytime you're ready. Ready is probably going to be a rather loosely defined term for these runners for a bit, though.
Yes, ready tends to be like, do I have enough HP, equipment, power, items, even levels? So we'll see how the seed shapes up.
Yeah, and we do see that CPU is looking a little rude to Zilch, but Kane's jumps and Sid's axe swings are still doing a fair amount of work.
And Sheila 1 has for us Tower Key. That's nice.
That is a gated boss check for CoffeeAndChocobos, so it's another spot for Wyvern to hide. And then we still have that rat tail to turn in.
Tower Key, getting Tower Key like early in quotations is so nice for me because going up the bottom half of the Tower of Babel takes so long. So knowing that I don't have to double dip the tower or even make the gamble / decision of doing towers without the Tower Key, so you miss out on half of it, is so nice to me.
Yeah, it is very nice to be able to go and see, okay, I can clear everything out in this location, and if there's just value at the top of tower, I've been pointed there sooner, which is a big advantage for me.
Yep. CoffeeAndChocobos has the hook ready. Nice.
Going in.
even the most minor of optimizations can save a lot of time in the long run.
Yep, that is something that can definitely go and just help. A rat tail into pink tail. It's a rat tail turns into a key item. Fun fact: Coffee and Chocobos doesn't get an option. He's going and sitting through both of these. Just gets a Masamune, not the crystal sword you're really hoping for with this party, but an extra key item does bring Coffee and Chocobos that much closer to 10 key items.
I thought at this point, imagine you do like lower battle and you get 2 key items or something. It's like, do you delay your grind to 10 key items, or do you like grind at 7 or something? It's a tough choice.
At the very least, I see who's in Cave Bahamut if I find Wyvern there, because that could go and might be able to go and pull a crystal soon enough.
It's
Coffee and
interesting. It is interesting because Zilch went to the moon, checked the character, and then reset, and he reset like down in the overworld, I believe. He didn't go and check who was in Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, Zilch must not have wanted the information of who is the boss in Cave Bahamut when Zilch does not think he's going to be taking that fight anytime soon.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who is it there because I'm not going to be fighting it in like 30 minutes or more. So,
and there
fair.
could be some good information there of, oh, it's one. Oh, hey, it's good. Wow, this is a seed. We have Eddie at the Hook Path as our 5th character. Hooray! And we have a Sparkle as the Rubicant boss. Is it Wyvern? Is there no escaping this? Or is it someone else?
It could be very well Wyvern. If that Sparkle is Wyvern, we are in go mode immediately.
Yep. Coffee and Chocobos has the fun choice of, do I go and check that? It looks like Coffee and Chocobos is saying, yep, we go check that now.
We slingshot Edward?
I would
why not?
Just an argument for going, okay, so Edward is around level 60 or something, goes and becomes a rather usable character.
Let me check his like HP values at level 60 or something real quick using our wonderful Free Enterprise wiki, which you can check yourself.
Around 1,060, he's going to be around 1,500 HP, I think. 70, he gets up to 3,000 HP. Or 70, I know, because that's something I did.
Wow. 1929 for HP on average for Edward. That's a really good number at level 60.
Almost enough to be able to safely survive one big bang.
You find a good weapon for Cecil. You give the defense sword to Kane. Maybe you get lucky and you get Sid his forge, and you give Eddie the Artemis bow, and you have like 4 circles going strong after slingshotting Edward.
I mean, you get the giant axe, and you get Sid a ogre axe or something. It'll work.
Yeah, just saying, like if you're an Edward fan, so there are things you can play with this Edward and make him really valuable for endgame.
That said, Coffee and Chocobos did go and take the Mad Ogres, found a heroin rope that Coffee and Chocobos did not take. Unless I missed it and the select all went to it, but not a holy sword, not an Avenger for Cecil.
No downing Edward either, so the slingshotting Edward might not be in Coffee and Chocobos' mind.
It might go and Coffee and Chocobos might be trying to go and get Edward leveled up so other characters can get slingshotted, because we currently have the team of Edward, Cecil, Kane, Tella, Sid. We don't have any mages in this team. We have Tella, who is not so much the power mage, but I can go and do a bunch of utility mage.
So we have one character check available to us, and that is the Dwarf Castle check. I wonder if Coffee and Chocobos after this is going to go ahead and check Dwarf Castle.
Double sparkles down here in the hook
Oh
route
my
path.
god. That's a coin toss if that's Wyvern or not, isn't it?
Yep, it's Ogopogo in the first spot, which was 2 of 3. Well, 1 of 3. Then we get to Wyvern or Paladin in the second slot.
So while Ogopogo punches like no other noodle has ever punched before, Berserk came with a defense sword. It's putting in some work.
This spot only has 6,000 HP, so just hitting it until it hopefully stops is a very valid strategy. You just need to be worried about those big waves that do damage based on your max HP.
Yup. And there you go. That game was lightning quick. Took care of Ogopogo, which is usually a very nasty boss in that spot. Fantastically well done.
Ogopogo is probably one of my favorite design bosses just because he's real scary, and CoffeeAndChocobos is not scared of whatever this sparkle is. And it helped him.
There it is. We lost the coin flip, everyone.
Wyvern is still out there, but the Falcon is going to get launched. What we know is the next time we see a Lunar Sparkle, it's Wyvern.
Yup, it is the last sparkle, so we'll see. It could be in the moon, or maybe it's a dwarf castle, or maybe it's in the Tower of Babel. We don't know. We shall see.
If Wyvern's on the moon at a moon altar, that is a rather special degree of rude, because all moon altars are in sparkle. Until you start the fight.
Unless you interact with the altars, you have no clue who's there.
Mm-hmm. And Zilch going and doing some scouting, going to find Golbez and Ashura in these overworld spots. And then Zilch has the choice of, does Zilch go straight down this hook path, find this Edward, and continue onwards, select the Falcon, and chase these sparkles? Or does Zilch say, okay, I want to grind my Cecil who I'm keeping down, I want to grind him now, and take a D-Machine grind with that Tella?
Choosing when to grind will be an interesting decision, and we will see what each of our we will see what each of our racers decides.
Yep. That is something where getting a bunch of experience on your Cecil just to go and be muddy and strong has some merit, just because the more damage you can do, the faster you can get through check. You aren't going to have any source of Berserk outside of Hela, unless we find a White Mage somewhere else. And picking up a White Mage after you've been a grind will be a bit painful, but maybe you can go and slingshot them off of Moon experience later.
It is totally possible. As we want to remind the audience, there is a mechanic called the low level XP boost, where if 1 or 2 characters are below 5 levels below the median, they will get double experience, which is like a catch-up mechanic for new characters that enter the party. But if you enter a fight where the enemy summons the same monster over and over again, you can just get like hundreds of thousands of EXP points in the same fight. This means that your character that was lower level than the rest of the party will suddenly be ahead of the party, and we call this slingshotting.
Yeah, the slingshot is a very, very useful tool that when you have a Tella, it's very easy to take the D-Machine fight, which is an encounter in the Giant, where the enemy, there's a Searcher that will go and summon D-Machines, which its main attack is to go and cast Fire on the party. 20% max HP damage, however, very predictable, and even at low levels, it's not that dangerous. Also susceptible to Weak, which Tella has access to. Once you have that Weak coming out, you can then just punch that dragon for more than, 10-8 damage, as they'll have single-digit HP, and you'll be able to kill as many of those as you can cast Weaks for to get a bunch of experience. Speaking of experience, CoffeeAndChocobos has experienced the end of Objective 5, well, almost the end of Objective 5, the end of the non-Wyvern Lunar Sparkle fights, as they're all dead now.
Yup. Wyvern is hiding somewhere. He saw what happened to the rest of the Lunar Sparkles, and he was like, I want no part of this.
CoffeeAndChocobos is going to go and get to see who the boss on top of tower is. It's the Maga Sisters. Do we have a rune axe? I don't think so, but I think there was one for sale somewhere.
Mago's sister at that spot. Ugh. Could be worse, I guess.
It's not a high magic spot, so it's not going to go into be certain other fights that are, okay, go and delete one character in your party.
It just had like a very decent like HP to get through, and some of those sisters can cast status effects on your party and on the like, and if they stay alive for very long, things can go south real quick. So it's a bit dangerous.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice to go and not have to worry about them in a very rude spot.
That's true. In a high magic power spot, they can be very much more dangerous. Zilch is going to grind while CoffeeAndChocobos is resetting out of Dwarf Castle. Huh.
CoffeeAndChocobos is I'm in full boss check mode. I know where one boss is. I know that a boss is not on the top of tower. I'm going to go and take a look, and is going to go and turn into that darkness crystal and probably check Cave Bahamut if I'm going to take a guess here. We know that Cave Bahamut's an objective. It could be a free objective that... It's not King Queen Evelyn, because that fight was just found in the first slot of Dwarf Castle, but it could be a number of other fights.
Knowing that that's where King Queen Evelyn is also a powerful piece of information. That, like, knowing that you can come back to this fight anytime you feel is necessary, and know that you can tackle it at any time, because King Queen Evelyn is literally the freest boss in the game, is really useful, because like maybe this spot is lower priority now that I know I can beat it anytime.
Yep, and there is an argument to be made for saying, I want to go and take this fight anyway, see who the character is. Maybe it's a white mage, and maybe you want to go and do some grinding after this. Just getting prepared.
Like perhaps CoffeeAndChocobos just thought that the moon information was more valuable than sitting through the creepy Coley hand dragging itself slowly through the floor of the Dwarf Castle prison room.
Very fair point to go and make. But we see that Zilch is going and doing the giant manipulation, or the manipulation inside of the giant to get ready for a demishing grind. And CoffeeAndChocobos is going to discover that, yeah, it's a second Cecil up here on the moon.
Sadly, because of see no dupes, we can't have second Cecil. I know that was a loved meme back a few tourneys ago, but sadly, there is only one Cecil to be had, and that's enough. No Penta Cecil. One's enough.
There can only be one! Just like there can only be one demishing grind fight going on right now, as Zilch is... Oh, Zilch has read the chart. It looks like it's probably the next fight then.
We have a handy dandy chart where we can reset in the save point, and depending on which encounters we get, we know when the demishing fight is going to happen. We're not manipulating the encounters, but we know if we are in the right path to finding it.
Yeah, we can go and find our position in the encounter seat and then go from there. And looks like Zilch may have gone a bit too far or so. Oh, that's a final, right?
That's a mean fight too.
That's rude. That's Demist.
So it could be worse, okay? Because the mist punches 3 times and then goes into the mist phase. So as long as you have 3 characters alive or some blink, it's going to just like punch 3 times. So it won't wipe your party. But there is a very high chance with how powerful the physical attack is in that spot, the Bahamut spot, that each punch will take down a character per punch. Good chance.
That's what might be able to go and keep the party up with some heavy armor in the back row, but no matter what, that's going to be a kind of slow fight. The big thing that goes and lets Zerkers be fast is, well, Berserk, which you don't want to do in a D-Mist fight because each time you hit the Mist phase, you get a counterattack.
Absolutely. So Coffee and Chocobo was deciding, okay, this is where I make my stand and this is where I grind.
Coffee and Chocobos does not know where Wyvern is, but Coffee and Chocobos could also just be coming into the Giant to see if Wyvern is in here, or if there's something free at the first boss spot, as I don't believe Coffee and Chocobos has a slingshot character set up at the moment.
Nope, that is correct. It seems that Zilch is going to do the Edward slingshot that we mentioned, and trying to get Edward some really good levels. His HP values are really good for Zemus instead of taking a nap in the floor.
Not the worst idea, because you can try and spend more time to get another slingshot set up, or you can just take what you have and make the most of this Edward.
Ooh, I have noticed that Zilch is also going to slingshot Cecil. That's going to be a powerful team.
That is going to be a very beefy team, if nothing else.
Yep.
That said, the best weapon we have for Cecil is that Artemis bow, or... Excuse me, we don't have either of those things. The defense sword and Artemis bows were in trap chest that only Coffee and Chocobos did, not Zilch.
Yep. So as community member Posomorpheus mentions, it took one try for Coffee and Chocobos to find the right fight, while Sidge spent like 3 minutes trying to find the right tile to get the current encounter party.
Yeah, it's going to sting a bit for Zilch, but Zilch does have slingshot targets available, so maybe Zilch is going to go and take fewer D-Machines and just be going, no, and Zilch does not have the correct fight either. That is very unfortunate for Zilch.
Ooh. You hate to see it. That's gonna cost Zilch some time for sure.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. And while Coffee and Chocobos is just going on with the grind right now, going in, casting, throwing out cures with, was going to throw out cures with characters, is going and knocking down Sid. In fact, about C Hero is that your hero will always gain experience, even if they're dead at the end of the fight. So if you want to go and just get a bunch of experience and reduce the amount of healing you need to do, knock down your hero, let the other characters take the lead on the grind, and then you can just simply go and get your party leveled up, and hey, Sid's still getting it.
Yep. So, about the D-Machine fight, it might seem like it's just like going through the motions. It's like, oh, just gets weak, swipe, either, weak, swipe, either, maybe heal sometimes. But there are a number of things that can go wrong in this fight, like queuing the attack before the wick comes off, Tela not being in the middle for the accuracy bonus, forgetting to throw an ether to Tela. Like, you can autopilot this fight and then make the tiniest mistake, and then the entire fight goes south, and you could very easily wipe. So caution is of the utmost importance here.
Yeah, this is these D-Machines, they're very easy because it's okay, attack, weak, attack the D-Machine, summon another one. I've done that too many times in a row, and I need to have MP on Tela. We're just going to go and try and stall a bit, and these fires are going really fast, and my HP is going down much faster than I like. And then it just goes and snowballs into, I have one character alive, and I'm praying that they're able to somehow kill this D-Machine on their own, and that's a reset on my side, isn't it?
Yeah, like, if you hit a D-Machine with a physical attack, it will retaliate with a counter. Now, let me tell you, the physical power of the D-Machines is astronomically high. So you have to be careful with that as well.
Turns out, wonder of wonders, they are in fact endgame enemies and act like endgame enemies.
Yup. You will think so, but yeah.
We might not be fighting with an endgame team, but we're going to be getting the experience worthy of these endgame enemies. We're going to be very well prepared and very well rewarded for this.
Absolutely. They are among the highest EXP rewarding enemies in the game, especially when you can like knock them down one by one right here, like our racers are doing.
Yep. But speaking of rewarding things, let's go and give our thanks to our restreamer Escorian. Go and give thanks to our tracker, our Taco Bowl 18, and give thanks to our runners for going and being part of this, as we wouldn't be able to put a show on without Escorian going and providing us a screen to look at, and Taco Bowl for going and keeping track of the buttons. I'd also like to thank you, Alchemy, for joining me on commentary.
Thank you very much, and thanks to you, Bakashinobi, not only the master of stealth and punch, but also the master of segues, because oh man, you keep knocking it out of the park with those.
I do my best. I don't even care if they're really good. I just go and do them anyways and hope that people don't call me out on them.
You're doing great.
Yes.
Is anyone in chat keeping count on how many team machines have Coffee and Chocobos done yet?
We're asking chat because I haven't. I'm just going to go and wait to see what big number we get at the end of this. Coffee and Chocobos, I expect, is going to go and have the bigger number because Coffee and Chocobos isn't getting any slingshots. Zilch has the luxury of when you slingshot Cecil, you're going to go and be also slingshotting Edward. Get two high power characters. Maybe you're okay with that, but did a week just come out on that Searcher?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think a week came out before that D machine was fully summoned. That is unfortunate.
Ooh, yeah, Zilch just weak the Searcher. There is a fix to this. If you have enough ethers and you accidentally target the Searcher, you can defeat the D machine if your HP is willing and you have enough, and then use a Cure 4 on the Searcher, which will bring it to the full HP.
Yep, that is something. Cure 4 on a single target doesn't have a spell power and doesn't care about magic resistance. It will instead just simply full heal the target. Alternatively, if you throw an elixir on that Cure 3 is well, it does something. It can go and take some hits again, and that is what we need. And if you go and throw Thor Rages, yeah, you're gonna be able to go and just start going about it. And that's grind recovery done. So Zilch is getting ready to get back into the grind, I think.
Yep. Like we mentioned, it's so easy to go through the motions, to use like muscle memory, like lose focus while you're doing the grind. It's like the slightest missed input or you forget something and everything can go south. Like you weakened the Searcher while the D machine was up. If your HP had been lowered, that's like 2 or 3 flames you eat. It could like wipe you easily. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, that it's part of why it's very important to go and have a hit come out right before Tell gets his turn, is because Tell's usually kind of slow, and the D machine is not.
It is so fast, but it seems like Coffee and Chocobos is down, getting some hefty levels.
That's a mid-40s team. That is a if you have a solid white mage, that's an endgames Aromas team. But I think we're going to go and just be taking this rather beefy team to the moon and start fighting things that way.
Ooh, you think Coffee and Chocobos is like maybe going down the overworld, grabbing a few key items and going to the moon and hoping for Tang on the moon or something like that?
I think Coffee and Chocobos is doesn't need to go to full Zemus levels at the moment because we still don't know where Wyvern is and we don't know where either part of Forge is. So there's still plenty to be found. And you're going to get more experience.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, it's so easy to in quotations, see the writing on the wall and think this is going to be a jet seat and get like the wrong idea. Think, oh, I have this party for the jet seat. This is what I'm gonna do, and then it turned into like nearly 2 hours later. You know, so it's important to keep that in mind. Ooh, Coffee and Chocobo was looking for the last arm structures.
And unfortunately, Berserk Cecil, who is about to go get hit with Magnet. Magnet is
Ooh.
stopped.
Yep, sure is. Let me check real quick what the treasure probability for the last arm chest is. That would be a 15% for a tier 8 item. Hmm. That's not too bad.
Too bad. Meanwhile, we do have Zilch continuing the grind. Zilch is going into the fight a bit after CoffeeAndChocobos. But looking to go and be taking a serious load of experience for this party. Just going to go and really shoot up the levels on Cecil and Eddie.
Yeah, like even though Zilch entered the spent like 3 minutes trying to find the fight and then took a while to the centers. The slingshot of Edward and Cecil are going to make up for it more likely than not. Yeah, like they're going to be so powerful.
Cecil and Edward are going to have to carry the team, and Edward's going to have to carry the team with an Artemis bow.
Yep.
But CoffeeAndChocobos is through last arm.
Ooh, not what you wanted to see.
No, it is not. There is still a chance that there could find tier 6 items in these chests and could go and pull a defense sword, I believe. But you're really hoping for a better reward than that.
Absolutely. It is a shame, but that's how random's gonna rando. Sometimes you get an Artemis bow and a defense sword and an Excalibur, and sometimes you get samurai arrows, which are still very good. Like, if you have an Artemis bow, samurai arrows are the second best bow arrows in the game, save Super Forge arrows. They're very good. It's just not what you want to see.
Yeah, you're really hoping for something a bit more tangible and permanent. Speaking of tangible and permanent, Zilch is done with their grind, and let's see, 47 levels on Edward, taking him up to level 52, I think?
Oh boy. 52 is real decent for Edward. Damn. You love to see it.
So Cecil is currently 8 levels higher, or Zilch's Cecil is currently 8 levels higher than CoffeeAndChocobo's Cecil, but I didn't go and catch the levels on Kane and the rest of the party.
We'll see once you get back to the menu. 44, yeah, 44, 40, 43.
So that,
yeah,
about the same levels, only Zilch's team, Zilch's Cecil and Edward are going to go and be able to do a fair bit more.
Absolutely. Ooh, he's checking elements. Will he get lucky with a good boss? Ooh, that's a free boss.
It's free, and I'm gonna be honest, if I see a white mage behind this, I am very happy to go and take that white mage and get rid of Teller or someone. Teller's gonna be very slow.
Imagine if it's like Water Hag at CPU or something like that, right? That will be so huge if it's like Water Hag into Rosa or something.
If it's Wyvern, then that's also going to go and be a big pick for Zilch.
Yup, absolutely. Your stone, full EXP, absolutely wonderful. That's 102,000 EXP. Just like some extra levels, like bam, just like incredibly fast for free, basically.
Yep, that's a big pickup for Zilch, and one of the few fights that actually has 4 sprites, so we get to go and see all 4 element sprites going away in the different colors.
How cool is that, huh? Thank you, Baron, officer, and guards. And to the CPU, ooh, this is a very important breakthrough point.
Mylan Z, quite doable with Cecil, but not a character, not a fight you need to take.
I don't know what I will do in such a series. It's tough. It's tough.
At about 30,000 HP, is weak to air attacks and fire attacks, so Fire 3 from Tello would probably go and do quad 9s, but it would take a hot minute, and you would want to go and set up Cecil to resist undead, which I think the sorcerer ropes might actually already do.
You could, like, the thing is, if Zilch had found even a light sword, a lightsaber, I think Zilch might have taken that fight. But not taking it, it's also fair. Because Zilch, unlike CoffeeAndChocobos, doesn't have the Artemis bow to deal extra damage to Milo, who is flying. We always have to say this in comms, but he is flying to make him immune to Quake. So
He
he's
is.
vulnerable to arrows and bombs.
Zilch going and choosing to cast a wall instead of Berserk on Last Arm, and that reflects Magnet, which means the Last Arm, which is normally immune to stop, is now stopped.
Did you know that some enemy skills completely bypass the boss bit and resistances and it's kind of weird, but with that niche deep knowledge, you can just, instead of CoffeeAndChocobos having a really slow fight, it's done with it in like 30 seconds. Amazing.
Yep, and we see those are samurai arrows again. It's an improvement for your Eddie who's using poison samurai bow, but not the probably not the value you're hoping for.
Yep. Meanwhile, CoffeeAndChocobos is having pretty much a perfect fight, opting for just circling and just hoping to get as few cycles as possible on DMS, and just eating the cold miss counters. Oh, I see. He's using coffins to make his circles go down so they don't attack as frequently. Interesting.
Yep, that is something I have considered doing myself. And Zilch is now going into this hook route and going to be heading down to the hook path to go and get objective number 5 cleared, while CoffeeAndChocobos is still working on this Demas fight.
Zilch is going to go ahead and obliterate Ogopogo and fail them. While CoffeeAndChocobo had a bit of a slog in the Paladin side of things.
Zilch also going and buying a rune axe because wants to be ready for any the remaining mage fights of Magus Sisters, and maybe if there's any grinds to be done.
Very interesting, because you could think that Zilch can see into the future or something, right? But Magus Sisters being at the top of tower.
Yeah, that time we still haven't checked Tower Key, which is there. Demas is down. Cave Bahamut Spot gives a power shirt plus 15 strength, very nice. That is objective 2 down for CoffeeAndChocobos, and now we're either hunting for both parts of Forge or Wyvern somewhere.
Yep. Is he going to check the LST for 6 bosses down there? So it's gonna be interesting. 6 or 5.
Yep, does find cabins, which
5.
a few of those would be pretty nice just to heal up this team if you have to take more than one fight.
Yep, cabins are you take them for granted, and when you don't have it, it's oh, I don't have a way to heal all my MP for this gauntlet dungeon. I mean, oops.
Yeah, not being able to go and just take a pile, just go and fully restore these very, very healthy Zerkers is a thing. CoffeeAndChocobos is going to Zot in the whale. I wonder if CoffeeAndChocobos is thinking, is there a Wyvern cheekily at the Magus Sisters 1 spot?
That will be an interesting gamble to take. I will be down. I'm here for not the statistically probable plays. I'm here for the exciting plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we see that CoffeeAndChocobos is just picking up a pile of Cure 3s, as many as CoffeeAndChocobos can afford.
Oh yeah, without a white mage, all you have to rely on are Cure 3s, which are pretty decently good, but they won't beat a Cure 4 coming from a white mage, absolutely not. But having them, you can have one person be a designated chemist, as we like to call them in the community, and just throw potions around.
Yeah, and it's very tanky. Is going to be able to go and throw potions a fair bit. Eddie can also go and hide and throw potions between big bangs.
Yep. Ooh, he's going down the LST. Is it going to go top down or bottom up?
I have a suspicion CoffeeAndChocobos is going to face check the LST.
Yeah, I could see that, but do you face check? Like, it's a tough call, because if you face check from top to bottom, it no, never mind. From top to bottom will be the best, because if you find him at Murasame altar, you can just go down anyways and face the Romans, right?
Yes, you can just simply walk down because neither runners has the pass either, so no shortcuts to Zemus today.
Nope, seems that way.
Zilch going and getting through the Paladin fight, probably thinking we're just going to go and chew through this, and is probably also somewhat disappointed that yes, the 4 sparkles I've seen are the 4 sparkles I don't need.
Tsukibaka in chat mentioning that it's surprised that CoffeeAndChocobos didn't check Radia's mom while he was down there. Thing is, we don't need key items. We need Wyvern. That's
I mean, there could be. There's Wyvern, there's Gomot, so CoffeeAndChocobos.
There you go. There it is. Like we said, the objective number 3, have focal forge the Lightning Sword with. Oh my god! Is that HP based wave?
It is. It's K-Natsu's wave. That's.
I completely lost my train of thought. I was like blown away by that wave. Amazing. Good thing we went here with the levels. See, this is why I mentioned earlier that when I pick Cape Bahamut, I also like picking Murasame, because nonsense like this can happen, and then you have the knowledge.
So CoffeeAndChocobos is going to go and have the fun time of trying to make this party work its aromas.
Yup. What do you do with these levels? And do you just go for it? Like, use Stella to circ as many people as you can. Use Cure 3s to heal people. Like, it's a little tough.
Yep, that's a thing. So one thing to consider is that if Demas had the Earth Crystal, that could actually be a pretty big thing for this team, because there could be a fair amount of equipment behind it.
That's a good call. I could see that happening.
However, it's still 1 out of 10 key items that is remaining, and CoffeeAndChocobos has a crystal in hand with a defense sword and an Artemis bow.
Absolutely. Oh my god!
This is... Wyvern took his reward and went further up to the moon. He wanted to go and start moonlighting a bit more or something.
Do you know what we like to call, like, Cecil and Rosa strats, like power couple? That's what we like to call it. Like Cecil is the best fighter, and he has like a crystal sword, and he's just going and Ceramos swinging at him, and Rosa is like healer, and it just works out with 2 people. Well, welcome to the new power couple. It's a bit bootleg. They don't have a white mage, but you have a massive stack of tier 3 potions and someone with 4k HP, and you still have a Cecil swinging around with a crystal sword. We in Ceramos now, boys.
Yeah, CoffeeAndChocobos says, oh, I'm no longer scared about damage. I'm taking Cecil. Do you give Cecil the power robe, or do you check to see if that power robe overcaps him because the strength sword gives crystal sword gives plus 15 strength?
I don't think he has other equipment, and at these levels, I don't think it caps on 99 or over 99, or not by much at least.
Not yet, but Zilch is unfortunately not going to the spot that he needs to, which is the Murasame altar for Wyvern. He's gonna have to try and find Forge on Earth while CoffeeAndChocobos is walking down the moon to Zeromus.
And I would like to remind the audience that even if CoffeeAndChocobos made the technically correct decision of checking that spot because that's like how you find one of the shortest routes to beat the seed. Zilch is not playing badly just because he didn't check that spot. He's taking a statistically probable chance of finding both Forge and Wyvern. So, just like letting you all know, this is also a good play from Zilch. It just didn't pay out because it's a randomizer. That's just how it goes.
Did I miss Coffee and Choco saving, or is Coffee and Choco just saying, nope, we're going, we're just going, we're going, we're going, and we're going?
I thought I saw him enter the save room there.
Okay. I just missed it because I was staring at how quickly Zilch was taking out that fight. And Dark Knight Cecil is the second boss here in Dwarf Castle.
Well, that's not Pain Man, as we like to call him when he's in nasty spots. That's Tickle Man. Tickles.
Yeah, Dark Knight Cecil is, I'm just imagining the low-level Cecil going around saying, fear me, I'm totally the real strong one. And then Talon Cecil's like, look, 1700 damage says no.
I'm cool and edgy. Look at me. I have a cool black sword. Please pay attention to me.
Yeah, speaking of looking at things, I guess we should look at Coffee and Chocobo's side, as Coffee and Chocobos is going to the final fight of the game, and I see some flags out there and some questions that we might want to ask.
Oh boy, this is one of the favorites for the audience, because we don't change the location of the final boss like every other boss, because his script is too complicated. He has very powerful unique spells, and it will be just a hot mess, really. But we change what Zemus looks like. And so we ask the question, if Baka, you wouldn't mind.
I'm more than happy to. We ask, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
And my favorite version of that, who is Zemus cosplaying as tonight?
And is it going to haunt my nightmares?
Well, hopefully it will be a cool sprite. It will haunt your nightmares like a shinobi. It will.
I remember this series. This is yeah, let's go and get the damage rolling. Let's have that pain train start. If anyone of you don't know this, we're not going to go and talk about where this is from and what this thing actually does. But let's just say I have a strong disdain for it.
This is one of the main characters from Madoka Magica, a magical girls show. That's all you'll get from us. So,
if you really want to know that show, watch past episode 3.
So Coffee and Chocobo is going strong already with the Berserk from Tela before Tela kisses the floor. But the big bangs are really powerful. But he managed to nerf it, so we are good.
Yep. We got a nerf Big Bang. We got a Cecil hitting for 6,000 damage almost sometimes.
Oh boy. Zemus is a special case in terms of bosses, because, well, he has 64,000 HP. He actually has a refill script, because in order to get it around the technical limitations of the Super Nintendo, they just, like, when you get close to say like 35-40% of his HP, he just refills his HP to full. So he has about 100 and something thousand.
He at 45,000 HP after doing that much direct damage, the next direct attack will go and trigger a HP refill, which will refill Zemus back up to 61,000 HP. So over 106,000 HP technically.
Yep. So with the fighter-only party, this can be a little dicey, but thanks to that pickup from the Crystal Sword, this is much more doable. This is why Coffee and Chocobos, despite all the time it takes to go down to the blue planet from the moon with the Lunar Well cutscene, went to Troya, which has 2 item shops for double the chance of finding tier 3s, and he found them.
Yep, that was definitely a big hit for Coffee and Chocobos, as you really want some form of healing in this fight, and Tela does not count.
Yep, but Sid, with his big HP pool, he can do just almost as good as a job.
Big HP pool is enough to go and survive even unnerfed Big Bangs, and Cecil's in a slightly scary position and might go and get taken down by the nerf Big Bang as it's just coming out. That said, Crystal Sword,
Ooh.
in addition to giving plus 15 strength, also gives plus 15 willpower. Might let Cecil dodge. He does 600 damage.
Nice.
Cecil's still up. Cecil's still berserked, and Cecil is still going to be dealing damage.
I think this fight is probably in the back. Things could still go wrong, but it will be surprising.
Yeah, we might get a black hole just because Cecil does a lot of damage. There's the black hole.
Life in Tella immediately, so Tella can cast Berserk on Cecil again before he goes down and takes a nap. Like we said, Tella may not be the best mage, but he's the best utility mage.
He's got Berserk. That is more than we can say about any other caster in this party.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
We also have rocks on Coffee and Chocobo's side. Cecil dodges. Tella doesn't, but if Cecil can go and swing his sword a few more times, it's not going to matter.
Yup, I think this is over, folks. Ooh,
Eddie going and taking a valiant shot. 1,000 damage. Is Eddie going to go down for this hit? Eddie goes down. Kane dodges. It is just Kane and Cecil, the power team from the start of the vanilla game, going and defeating Cubamus. Coffee and Chocobos taking the first place win in this best of 3 with a time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, 38 seconds. GG, Coffee and Chocobos. We will see if they are going to be joining us for an interview shortly. And by shortly, I mean now, it seems, as Coffee and Chocobos has joined us. GG's, Coffee and Chocobos.
Thank you very much.
First question, that's the most important one. Crystal Sword, best sword or absolute best sword?
It's okay. It's a shiny piece of metal. I didn't have anything to sell it for, so I figured I might as well put it on Cecil, and we'll take down Z. You know, real swag strats, Crystal Sword, right?
So,
yeah.
I was thinking, like, we were theorizing, like, oh, like Coffee and Chocobos has some low levels, like the equipment isn't absolutely the best. Like, what's Coffee and Chocobos gonna do? Before you saw that Crystal Sword, what were your plans after beating Wyvern?
My plan was to do pretty much what I did, but slower, and probably not with the second Big Bang skip that I saw. I'm sure you saw. Okay. I tried to nerf that second Big Bang, and it never came across, and I was just waiting for it. So I tossed a Cure 3 at Kane. I thought he was going to die, and just continued on with the fight.
I see. That's fair.
Definitely a very aggressive take on that fight with Edward, Sid, Tella, Kane, and Cecil, with your best weapon before that being a defense sword. What were your have you practiced fights like that where it's just, you know, you've got above average but not exceptional equipment for the team, but still going without a white mage? What has been your experience with that?
Yeah, I think one of the qualifiers, there was a race sort of like that where my levels were low. There was a Tella available, but I said, you know what, I'm not gonna demachine. I'm gonna do some behemoths. We're gonna do some low-level Zerker strats, and I've gotten a good grasp on that that guaranteed nerf, at least if you know, if everybody's RA1 or I've got a good anchor and a good agility order that I know I can nerf with slot 2 or slot 3 consistently. And with Eddie hiding and with Sid having so much HP, you got a backup to your backup in case anybody serious goes down. Plenty of life potions, plenty of Cure 3s to drag the fight back from the brink if you need to.
Yeah, you had 20 some odd, or almost 30 Cure 3s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I wanted to buy 30 at first, and then I fumbled around in my shop menu, so I settled on, I think, like 27 or 29.
Definitely a fair amount, because yeah, Tella did the job, it seemed, for you, of going and just casting Berserk. Do you have any other intentions for Tella for Zemus, or was his job? You cast Berserk, we throw a life on you, you cast Berserk again.
That was pretty much it. He's got 5 Zerks in the tank, and thanks to the refill skip, I was able to nerf with the slow. Maybe helped a sliver going into the Meteo phase because they and pray at that point. But Kane dodged a Meteo, and I didn't really have to worry about that too much.
So one of the things I was wondering is, you went to with an Edward in tow, you went to Dwarf Castle, saw King Queen Evelyn at the first fight, and reset. We were wondering about this in the booth, like, oh, maybe he wants to do other information gatherings, and it's good knowing that this is here. But what was your thought process for resetting us out of that fight?
That was solely a check for Wyvern. I had seen almost every other moon boss to that point. If it was a Sparkle, I was going to go ahead with Dwarf Castle. In retrospect, it might have been a wash time-wise, because I don't know what character was at Dwarf. I don't know if Zilch did it. If it was anything good, that might have helped with either the grind, somebody to slingshot, with D-Mist, or the Z fight.
Zilch currently has the same party as you and did Dwarf Castle, so it was not anyone that amazing.
Oh, well, dodged a bullet there.
Yup. But interesting to know that at that point in the seed, you were already in full fate check mode.
Yeah, with the entire moon available and the couple of zonks that were on the overworld, I knew something had to be on the moon, whether it was Wyvern or a key item that would lead me back to Earth, so I figured I would face check a couple of spots. I thought about checking the cannon room because I saw what was at the top of the tower already, but just decided against it because I figured if I was coming back to Earth at some point, I would do the whole tower then.
That's fair. Interesting thought process. I can see the logic behind it, absolutely.
And some of it's just, running around like a chocobo with my head cut off, trying to get my objectives accomplished and beat Zilch, who is still one of the most terrifying runners and most solid runners in our community.
Absolutely. Even though you are at C2 and Zilch is like C17, you are both sages, and that's a big thing. Like, your knowledge and depth of the game is huge. So it was an absolute blast to watch you two go head to head.
Yeah, according to the race bot, we're tied 7-7, and we also tied in the ladder on a, I believe it was I don't know if it was a Lollyho brackets or a Fabul Gauntlet seed or something. We tied in one of our last ladder matches, and it was it's very close between us.
Absolutely. So, do you have a scheduled time for your next race so we can tune in?
The next one's tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock p.m.
Ooh, exciting. So,
Are you going into it with a 1-game lead?
As far as I'm concerned, this series is still 0-0.
fair. Anything can happen, especially with Zilch, which is really good at this game. Absolutely.
Yep.
So, Baka, did you have any other questions?
I think that's covered all of mine. GG's again, Coffee and Chocobos, on your first victory.
Thank you very much, and thank you as always to the behind-the-scenes team and the commentary. I'm excited to watch this back. A couple of my favorite commentators and our restream and tracking team, excellent, on par, on point as always.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for going and putting on a great show for us. It's been an excellent show to watch.
Anytime.
Well, GG's again, Coffee and Chocobos, and we will see you tomorrow for the next race of this best of 3.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, you too.
And I believe Zilch is going to join us next for a little interview post-race. Stay tuned.
And we are joined by Zilch now.
Yep. Hello there, Zilch. I believe you're muted. Yeah.
Weird, you can't hear me when I'm muted?
Only across the astral plane. It doesn't pick up very well on microphone, though.
No, good to know. That wasn't my best showing, but, it happens.
It was... The seed is...
The
seed was very interesting, I'd say.
Yeah, progression was all over the place for this one. It wasn't like so cut and dry, go here, go there. It was a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even that. It was just the plague wipes and then the grind disasters that were going on there just kind of like tilted me. And
Oh,
you
understandable.
can't afford to give people like Coffee and Chocobos any time, so giving them that much time.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Coffee and Chocobos had, after doing ordeals, went to Castle Evelyn and took 2 trap chests, finding an Artemis bow and a defense sword, which gave a fair bit of a DPS lead to Coffee and Chocobos in that fight.
Yeah, my collection of axes probably wasn't going to cut it.
It had a fair bit to... You could ask for a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all right. We
Well-
had Eddie. He had a samurai bow. What more can you want?
That
Yeah, he hit 1,000 damage on Coffee and Chocobo side in the Zemus fight.
that
Gains 1,000 more damage than I did in the Zemus fight.
So what's your thought process on slingshotting Edward? Like most people I've talked to were like, oh, I would like rather hope for a different character to replace Edward. But slingshotting Edward to me says, oh, I'm committing to Edward going into the end game. So what was your thought process on that regard?
It was more like if I had to go to Z with that team, I would be able to get through it. If I found a white mage, I hadn't cleared the moon yet, so I could just slingshot a white mage up on a fight, and that'd be good enough. Black mage, I'd probably keep Edward over at that point. And really, the main thing I would have wanted, because you have Cecil, Kane, and I mean the axes aren't great, and hopefully I find a better sword. But if not, it's still a doable fight. Might be a little slow. But if I had a second source of Berserk, that would have been all I really wanted.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wouldn't need a white mage leveled up much.
I see. So go on, Becca.
I was gonna say, you certainly didn't get many good options for characters. Edward being the 5th on the hook route, when the remaining spots you had Earth, which you didn't have, Package, which you didn't have, and then the Sand Ruby, which you didn't have but was already an Edward. Did you have any temptation? We saw that Mylan Z and at CPU to just go through the fight to see if you can get a better character?
No, at that point, I was almost certain I was behind, and I needed to make some gambles, but that was not a gamble that would have changed the outcome of the match. I needed to just go do Dwarf, do a few things on Earth before I tried to find one piece of forge before going to the moon, assuming that Coffee and Chocobos would just finish his grind and go to the moon.
It's a correct assumption because that is what Coffee and Chocobos did after seeing Demist and Cave Bahamut and fought to stick around and take that fight at low levels and did it at post-grind levels. But
Yeah,
you
I mean,
said-
I kind of regret not peeking Cave Bahamut. I might have been tempted to do low-level no grind strats at that point because we did have a decent number of Star Veils. So it was on the back of my mind, but since I didn't peek Cave Bahamut, I decided. I mean, if I did, I definitely would not have done it because Demas there just seems really ugly. But
Would you like to know something else that was very ugly?
I
boy.
probably already know, but tell me anyway.
Wyvern's Witchburn was Wave.
Yep, heard that one. So that would have also been a anti-low-level strata gating
Yep.
the seed.
It did just about like 1,000 and like 200 damage on everyone, or just about, yeah. So I believe we saw you go up to Elements and defeat the Baron Guards there, right?
Yep.
So you saw Mylon Z. We were wondering if you were going to take that fight, but you decided against it. Why was that? Like, what was your
I was
thought
just
process there?
checking for bosses at that point.
Fair.
I figured the guards were free enough where, it might take maybe a minute to get through them to see the next boss. If it's Wyvern. I mean, and also you get a chunk of experience and it's a safe fight.
Yeah.
So I was willing to just, do that to get Kane and Sid a little more levels, more health.
Like,
Make it a little
we were
safer
wondering,
for the rest of the...
we were wondering if you were gunning for a white mage dropping from the giant, or if it was just like a pure face check. So that's good information to have.
Yeah, I mean, if I had found a white mage throughout the seed randomly, I would have added them in and again, getting Berserk on them is all I really would have wanted.
Absolutely right.
But again, I didn't need that. It was just that would have been nice to have.
Let's see, the seed would have been nice to have someone else casting spells, I'm guessing. Kalu was your only source of real magic in the seed. But you did go and do a
knows
lot
Cure
of...
too.
That's true. Cecil has Cure too. That was something that definitely did help. Not going to deny that.
Can't say I casted it with him, but he has it.
I've cast it with him in the middle of a fight. Sometimes I don't want to go and try and use Cecil's weapon, and someone needs a little bit of healing.
Yeah, knowing there would have been a Crystal Sword waiting for Cecil too would have definitely just been like, okay, go straight that way.
Yeah, but hindsight and everything, right?
Yeah, you can't assume that.
Absolutely. So I think you it's easy to laser focus on your mistakes, but you played that seed excellently, absolutely fantastic, befitting for someone like seed 17 on a really tough competition. So just keep going and let's go for a game 3. I want to see it.
I mean, that's the goal. I'm not planning on losing, but whatever happens. Hopefully I'll put in a good showing tomorrow, and you guys can enjoy game 3 on Sunday, and maybe game 4 after we tie one of these games. Who knows?
Please don't tie. The Evans would like to officially request, please don't tie.
They've already got it set up for ties now, right?
Please don't tie.
Well, thank you very much, Zilch. Do you have any last words or thoughts?
Just thanks for commentating, tracking, and restreaming. Look forward to watching it back and see where I went wrong from a different perspective. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you for going and putting in such a great race for us. We're looking forward to seeing your next one tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you. You too. With that is the end of our race, but that is not the end of Free Enterprise today. No, there is still plenty more going on. Alchemy, are you ready to go see some more Free Enterprise?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna go in late tonight, baby. 6 a.m. Free Enterprise watching. We have a wonderful match from seed number 1 Pancras versus Sheldy on Randomania. So don't go anywhere. I mean, if you have to use the bathroom, go for it. It's necessary. But come back for more Free Enterprise.
Go and tell everyone that you saw a great match, but do not tell them any spoilers of this match. We want to go and let anyone who wishes to see this match and be surprised by the results on their own, at their own leisure. But feel free to tell them it was a great one. Have a great evening.
See ya.